Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk about releasing guilt and anger and resentment and sadness and all that stuff that can anchor us and weigh us down. I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about the past and how we as human beings tend to hang on to it. And it makes sense because the past feels safe, because that's what feels normal, and changing it is scary. So the reason this popped in my head is Amy, Lily, and I came back to Concord, North Carolina. It's where I'm from. It's where I grew up. And we came back to visit my family. And every time we come here, I'm always struck by how different everything looks. The trees look different. Everything just looks bigger in some ways, like the trees are bigger. But then there's places like the woods back behind the house where I grew up are gone, and there's houses there now, and so things have just changed. You know, back behind me about 5 miles back that way is my old elementary school, and it's gone now. It was taken down. It's gone, and now they're putting a new school up in its place. And then my old high school is back that way about 10 miles, and it looks different now too. And it's dislocating a little bit. It makes me feel funny because nostalgia is a funny thing. It's always always remember, I guess we remember things and it feels good to think about them. But then, I kind of thought, like, how ridiculous is it kind of to hang on to that? Like, I think about my old elementary school, it makes me feel sad a little bit that it's gone, but what am I going to do if it's still there? Go back and squeeze into one of those little desks that's made for little children and bang my knees up and try to learn my alphabet again? I mean, it's not going to work, right? It'd be painful for one, squeezing into those little desks, and then it doesn't serve me. Like, I've already been there and I've done that, and I don't need it anymore. And I wonder sometimes, people I care about and people I talk to, the clients that come through my door, we talk about hanging on to the past and hanging on to those things that don't serve us anymore, hanging on to stuff like guilt or resentment or anger, sadness, and stuff that happened a long time ago, and it's hard to release it because it becomes part of our comfort zone. It becomes part of what feels normal, and releasing it is kind of scary, but it keeps us rooted in the past. And what that does then is it keeps our brains focused on what we don't want, which is more guilt, resentment, anger, and fear, and all that stuff that feels bad, all that stuff that causes our bodies to release these stress hormones like vasopressin and cortisol and so on, and it makes us feel bad. And those things can actually make you feel sick. Being stuck in the past is like trying to squeeze into that little desk that I used to sit in when I was a kid. If I were to go back to my old school, like, it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful, it doesn't serve us. And so, if you're hanging on to stuff, I would encourage you to do what you need to do to let it go, because it's not good for you, it's bad for you, and it keeps you from moving forward. The stuff that I hang on to from time to time, it's bad for me, it keeps me from progressing forward, and I know that I need to let it go. And so what I would encourage you to do is ask yourself a pretty simple question, like, what's the payoff for hanging on to the stuff that you hang on to? Because your brain's not going to let you hang on to anything if there's no payoff, if it doesn't feel like it's getting some perceived benefit. Now, the payoff may be bad for you, but there's a payoff associated with it. So what are you getting from hanging on to this stuff? And, the question to ask yourself after that is, what do you need to do to let it go? And then do the opposite of whatever the payoff is. I know, somebody I talked to recently, we discovered that the payoff for hanging on to all the guilt was that it kept them in a victim and martyr mentality. And that was what felt normal to them. That's how they felt like they were able to give to other people, was to be a victim and martyr. And they discovered that, that's not serving them. And so we worked on that, and worked on self-confidence and sense of their own value and self-worth, and flip that thing around. And so, that's what I would encourage you to do, is look at what you're hanging on to and release that stuff. There's no reason to hang on to the ghosts of your past. Turn your head and look to the future. Look at where you are now and where you want to go, because when we stay rooted in the past, then that's where our brains are going to stay, and that's where our actions are going to stay, and the results in our life are going to keep showing up based on where our focus is. And if it's focused in the past, then that's what's going to show up for us. So look to the future, do what you need to do to let it go, and then move forward, because you deserve that. You deserve to live a happy, successful, amazing life, and I want that for you because I care about you. And that's it for today. Hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.